Hello everyone, this is part 2 of my new bike reveal. And this part I want to just explain a few things and run through a few questions that I had last time. About 300 miles on it so far, so not a huge amount, but enough to know what I need to get done to the bike to bring it up to standard. I wasn't going to tell you how much I got it for because I thought I might resell it, but I think that I'm pretty sure I'm not actually going to do that now. Cheers, pal. Because I like it. So I can tell you that I bought this bike without an MOT, which was a tad risky, of course. The chap said that he'd only done, was it 500 miles he said he'd done. He'd actually done 900 since the last MOT, so that's the risk that you kind of take with these things, isn't it, sometimes? And yeah, 1700 quid was, you know, I was kind of happy with. I mean, that was down from about 1950, something like that. I'm not a mechanic, but I know a bit about mechanics and what to look for when buying a bike. And I gave it the once over, of course, when I saw it, and I could see there wasn't going to be much of an issue. And in fact, luckily I was right on that front, because it went straight through. All kind of makes sense now why I've lost a bit of confidence in the tyres, because the amount of times I've gone around a corner and I felt like the back was hopping around a bit. And I had a bit of a funny incident at Counter Swear roundabout where I went round it and I saw what I thought was a bit of diesel in the road. So anyway, I gave that a miss, but I felt a big hop and it moved from the front and the rear, which is like the worst part, isn't it, when you lose the front end. It's only like, I don't know, 2 centimetres or something. The bike hopped over. I wasn't really banking it over, but I was going around the roundabout, and that instantly made me think, right, these tyres are rubbish. Whereas in fact, I don't think they're that bad. I think it's just because it turns out I need to tighten up the back end power lever. Another comment I had was that these bikes don't rev very highly, but I don't really, I mean, it's a 2-pot engine, it's not like it's a 4-pot engine, so it's not really designed to rev that high anyway. I'm just going to film my intro here in a minute. And somebody else said about it being you know, that I wanted a bit of I don't know what the words they use, but effectively saying that I wanted a sluggish machine. I don't take offence to that, you just think it might be quite slow, but in fact it is still pretty quick, which we will demonstrate now. Okay, so open it up in first. And that was 60, so still fast enough. I got no complaints there. So it will move if you want it to, but for me, not really bothered about that really. I just want a comfortable bike that's a joy to ride, and that's exactly what this bike is. It's definitely offered that. Comfortably do 80, 90 on the motorway, no problems. Well, 70 I mean. And there's loads of torque in it. So this is a very steep hill here, which the camera won't pick up very well. Second gear, 20 mile an hour. Third gear, fourth gear, 20 mile an hour. It's still pulling okay. I won't go into fifth. Yeah, I'll go into fifth gear. There you go, fifth gear. Nah, I don't like that. Right, let's put it in fourth and open it up. Pulling, 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 pulling. Still plenty there. Next thing I want to talk about is the bits that I was saying were not in such good condition. But you see where the forks are not too good there. It was the same up here actually, but I found that the Hammerite Smooth spray paint finish is actually a really good match. So I sprayed that top bit just to test it basically, and it's turned out really well. And that was without preparing it properly. It was just literally a quick spray, quick test. So that's come out quite well. So I think one of the winter jobs that I'll be doing is taking all this part off the bike and spraying it in Hammerite. The next part, which isn't so good, I'm not sure if you're going to pick this up either, is for some reason this has been scraped here. It's got some sort of corrosion on the telelever suspension part, and the other bit is the rusty bit on here, which should be easy to solve, and hopefully just a case of some light emery cloth or whatever, and that should come back to life quite easily. Yeah, these dials here, these were really rusted out. They were you know, just like surface chrome rust that you get with chrome, you know. There was loads of it, and I just put some light emery on it again. It's kind of you know, where I've sanded it off with the I think it was 1200 grit I used, where I polished it off with Autoso, you get the marks there on the chrome, but it's better than looking at the rust. The classic BMW bubbly paint down here, that's just where all the crap flies off of the wheel, obviously, and hits that part. Yeah, I've tried the Hammerite on here as well, just to see what it's like. You know, using Hammerite on the engine isn't ideal because it's not known as a high temperature paint, but I wanted to try it anyway because it is such a good match. So we'll see what happens there. And I've done a little tester here, so the worst case scenario, I can just scrape that off if it blisters or discolours or whatever. And after probably 100 or 200 miles so far, that seems okay, so all good there. Now the worst bit, which really sticks out, oh, we've got some rusty pegs here as well. Hopefully you can see that. That's easy sorted. I'll just unbolt it and mask it, take the rubber off, and again smash a load of Hammerite over it. If anyone's got one of these bikes or knows anything better to use than Hammerite, smooth finish, then let me know in the comments, because I'll be interested in knowing. But to me it seems a very, very good match, and Hammerite is pretty good stuff, isn't it? Right, so the next bit I've got to sort out, and this is going to be a bit of a pain, is all this down here. Again, it's a common place for corrosion, but being a BMW, I mean, this is I was talking to my mate Mark about this last night actually. Being a BMW, they made them so well back then. I'm not saying they don't now, but they do tend to skimp a bit more on material, so these bikes were built like tanks. The oil filter, although the chap's been topping it up with oil, which is great, the oil filter hasn't been changed for God knows how long, because it is rusty, you know. So that's never a good sign, is it, having a rusty oil filter? So there's that, and don't forget, when I picked this up, it had never been ACF'd, so it does actually look a lot better than what it did when I first picked it up. These sort of videos I try not to cut too much out. You know, this is just me talking about my bike, talking to a camera really, which is never easy, because it would be nice. You know what, I'd love to make a video with somebody else, so there's a bit of talk back, you know, because it is a strange feeling talking to a camera and there's no one talking back. Anyway, that's boring. Another thing I changed was the number plate. The number plate that I used to have on it was just blasted with you know, like advertising for where the bike was bought in the beginning. So I got rid of that because it just looks rubbish. So got a top box with it as well, a decent one. I think it's a 40 litre, something like that. So I'll be using that quite a lot. All this down here was discoloured. I've put some Autosol on it now, and it's brought it back to life. And yeah, essentially, yeah, it's not too bad, but I guess there are better models out there. But let's face it, 1700 quid, and I've got a bike which is an absolute joy to ride. It's got the upholstered seat. The front tyre's only got another probably 3,000 miles on it, I reckon. 3,000 miles, but as I say, I'm still not overly pleased with the tyres. They are the Metzeler I can't read it if it said 6 or Z8. I think it said 6. Funny enough, I went onto YouTube and researched about the Metzer Z8s, and there's another bloke on there. He's running the Z8s, and he hates them as well. So I'm glad it's not just me. But he says in the wet, he has no confidence in it at all. So, what else do I want to talk to you about? Yes, the important one is the fuel pump. I've balanced the throttle bodies, which I've done a video for. The fuel pumps on these bikes are prone to going, and you'll know when it starts to go because it'll make a funny whining noise. It smells very rich as well, so I'm going to have to look into that. It's probably quite normal, that, but can you hear that whirring? Anyway, there's a whirring from the fuel pump. That's got to be done soon as, because that'll leave me stranded on the road if I don't get that done. But that's on order now. I've got one coming from Germany, a Bosch one as well, so I've got a decent filter coming. Yeah, so that's the only must that I have to do. The rest of it is cosmetic, really, and it's all jobs which I can do maybe through the winter, because trying to get content for YouTube in the winter is a pain in the butt. I don't know how I've done it for the last 18 months or however long. But I still seem to be able to bring out a video every week, so thank goodness for that. But this will give me, a bit to do. So all those things that I've highlighted and all the rusty bits that I've let you know about now a bit more in detail. There's a bit down there as well. Let's see that flaky paint. Look. Hopefully that's coming out on camera. Yeah, flaking off. It's annoying, really, because no matter how I finish it, I will never get it as good as the engine as the BMW finish when it first came out the factory. But I could have got a better quality one. But in all honesty, KTM, I just wanted to dabble my feet into the BMW world, really. And I would say I was a fan before, but now I'm more than a fan. I'd even say I'm more of a BMW person than a Honda person now, and I've been Honda for the last 20 years. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. And obviously, unfortunately, BMWs these days, when you buy them new, you're talking mega money, aren't you? Not only is it like 15 grand for a basic model, but then you got the huge amount of costs with the servicing. They do look after you. You always get a courtesy bike, and they send you a little video of your bike being serviced and being worked on, but you have to pay through the nose for it, to be frank. And you know what, the weird thing is that even with my NC, there's not, I prefer to do the servicing on all my bikes. Even if I had a brand new bike, when I had my brand new Dylan, I had a Honda Dylan at one point scooter, that's how I done my CBT on it and stuff. I've always done the valve clearances on my bikes and the general servicing, and on my cars and vans as well, within reason. These days I haven't got the time so much, so yeah, I much prefer to do it myself. I'm really looking forward to getting the valves done on this bike. Again, I'm not convinced that they've been done for a long time, if at all. So that's another job I want to do. I'm going to change the oil on the shaft drive as well, on the final drive, sorry, and probably I'll do the gearbox oil at the same time. I got a funny feeling that has been done, certainly the final drive oil, but I would much rather, for peace of mind, just know that it's done. And with the rusty oil filter, I mean, that just says it all, really, doesn't it? So I want to make sure that it is all tiggity-boo. And I'm going to quickly film a new intro around the corner from here. Get your leg over. and then I'll be back with you. See you in a minute. Intro is now been filmed. See what that's like when I get home. I just realised how much I was talking about on the walk round of the bike back there. It's been half an hour, so I'm going to have to cut a lot of that down. Well, hopefully it's not too long for you anyway, but all the points which I raised is stuff I wanted to talk about, to be honest with you, so I expect most people would skip it through, which is fair enough, but there you go. Hang on mate, you can't see me. Hello. Haha. We've got to be one step ahead of them, haven't you? Oh dear, here comes the rain. Well, maybe that's a good time to leave you. Well, I'll do a quick outro now, but thank you very much for watching. If it's the first time to the channel, if you could give it a like, that would be super cool. And very helpful as well. And thanks for watching it, guys, and thank you for all your nice comments that come in as well. And if you've got any questions that you want to ask me about it, then do ask away. I always answer the comments. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Friday at 1 PM. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.